the work we do through the association is to establish better guidelines for Jiu-Jitsu and the technical and philosophical level. Because a lot of people are interested to learn Jiu-Jitsu simply for the fact they wanted to be more effective in a way to win a fight. And I believe with a clean look tournament, they can see sportsmanship, they can see like people competing and hugging each other in the end, and they can have like a friendly environment to develop all the elements which bring them together, not apart. I think the difference between Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and the other martial arts is exactly the perspective we see, the confrontation. I'm not there to make points. I'm not there to establish a position. I'm there to just feel comfortable during the whole process of the fight. This concept is not in any other martial arts, it's only in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, the display of action is kind of varies in different ways. You see in the white belt, some fighters, they have a little more skills and techniques to throw, or sometimes they're sloppy to defend, but you know, it's a growing process and they go very hard for the finish holds, and sometimes they don't have the technique. See, they don't know how to adjust properly, so the guy don't feel the pain to tap, but it's kind of interesting.
They really try and power through it probably more so.
Oh yes, definitely the movements, they don't have the same skilled element, but they try to compensate with the power and the energy. You see, like the senior division, that's kind of make me very happy to keep doing, because guys in any age, they go in any belt and compete, so that's kind of really interesting for the sport.
It's great to know that you can do this at any age.
Oh yeah.
It's really fantastic to watch this, because probably for a lot of these fighters it's their first tournament fight.
Yeah, for some, especially for the white belts, they really come in with a lot of expectation, and once they have a good healthy experience, they kind of getting a very positive understanding of what it is, and they just get hooked for life. That's a good submission, a good finish hold by the blue belt. There's a triangle choke combined with the arm bar, so it's very heavy.
Usually, how long does somebody study to become a blue belt?
About a year and a half. This is another nice choke applied for this heavyweight blue belt. You're going to set up a good control of the collar with the bottom hand, and then come in with the top hand.
You can really see some of the differences in the technique over the strength between the blue and the white belts.
Yes, they have a little better, but it's not as smooth. So it's just finished there. It's a nice choke. At this level, they start to polish their techniques with experience, and it's like sometimes they make a wrong attempt, they end up by getting the bad of it. Like just happened, the guy tried to throw and just end up by falling and get 2 points against him.
Did you find the most difficult thing to teach some of the newer fighters is the patience of the fight because of the nervous energy?
Yeah, but it's only experience will give. This is a purple belt match, and they already display a good action. The guy almost get him from the back and trying to maintain the pressure. The guy already trying to escape. He could successfully escape from the back, but the guy's already keeping the pressure and try to pass the guard immediately. So it's a pretty even fight.
How important is it for a fighter to come to a tournament to improve his skills?
I think it's important, regardless victory or defeat, because he's going to start to understand himself under pressure with the crowd yelling, and that's kind of give to him a better understanding of his potential and what he needs to increase. Doesn't matter if it's patience or aggressiveness or technique. So he will start learning more about himself, and I think that's a very important experience.
There were also, he's fighting people they've never fought before, which must really test his skills.
Yes.
Now this guy's really trying to come up. Is he in?
Yeah, he's trying to control the bottom guy, who's also giving a lot of action from the bottom. And he's to keeping the control, he has to alter his positioning and creating a different weight distribution and keep moving. So he go for a sweep, a successful sweep. But the bottom guy kind of gives a hard time.
He's really trying to position his weight.
Yeah, he's trying to go for the... This is a brown belt fight. See the base? It's totally changed already. You see the guy much more solid and much more taking advantage of any mistakes. So if you make a mistake, no matter the belt you do,
oh my God, look at that!
It's over. It's just a nice arm lock.
I used to surf and he used to surf too, so we have the same close circle of friends, and that's how we meet. Being his wife and being his manager, I think is a great combination in this sense, because I'm not seeing my size anytime as a manager, you know? I'm just not looking for what is good for me or how many business I'm gonna make or how much money I'm gonna make as a manager. I'm seeing all the time how it is for him, for his image, for his business, for the vision of our whole plan of the future. The family was raised around the jiu-jitsu and the competitions, and all my kids start to learn when they are young.
I can, pass for them my experience and my way to relate with others and with them, so it's some kind of extra relationship we have. It's not just father and son, it's father and son and training partners and teacher, and it's a bigger bond between us.
Nothing but honor and respect for him. He's the main man in my life, and he's just a good dad too. So we're friends, we're partners, everything is cool. It's a good relationship.
Even though they may not follow my footsteps deeply inside the martial arts, I really hope they can preserve for themselves the practice of martial arts.
I don't think I could imagine my family not having jiu-jitsu at all. It just wouldn't be my family.
All my friends know about my dad, and it's kind of just like something to joke around with. Like, it's going to be harder for me to find a boyfriend.
What I try to give to my kids is the capacity for them to enjoy jiu-jitsu with a general idea of not beat your opponent, but understand what's going on with you when you fight.
He doesn't want me to be a professional fighter. He doesn't want me to be a surfer. He doesn't want me to do anything. He just wants me to do whatever I want to do, so I can be happy in whatever I do.
I think it was a great lesson because he was fighting a bigger kid, because there not enough kids in the tournament, so we tried to mix the kids the way we could, and we put an older kid to fight him, and he did good.
And I was thinking, oh my God, am I going to lose? The guy's a lot heavier than me. And then I just fought him. I had to fight him no matter what. When it started, he flipped me, and I fell on my knees and I lost balance, and then he came on top, and then I put him in the guard, and he was winning with 2 points. Then he won eventually.
He did good. He lost the fight, but he did good. And I think it was a great experience. I'm happy about this experience as a father and also as a teacher. I don't look for a specific individual. I like to feel the spiritual values and the technical values and the strategical values of the human brain. So even a good writer can give me a motivation when I fight. Definitely this is going to be another great battle. We see now Flávio Almeida, Cachorrinho, against Léo Dalla.
Now, when you're in this kind of position, what do you look at? Do you watch his waist? Do you watch the feet to see if they're going to sweep you?
Yeah, everything. See, this is just a perfect off-balance position applied by Cachorrinho. And he just went for a throw, get 2 points of that. Now he get into the Léo Dalla's guard. And then he stand up to create a good balance base position to see if he can create some distance between him and his opponent, to see if he can pass the guard or the legs.
Now, what is the fighter on the bottom trying to do right now? What's his goal?
He tried to maintain the top guy in his guard between his legs and see if he can, through a reversal or a sweep or a lock, get the advantage. But Cachorrinho shows a very strong balance position, and Léo Dalla has a hard time to putting him, in an off balance position.
Now, which position would you prefer if you were in this fight?
The top position, because it's, now you see Flávio just open his legs with a knee technique. Now he's going to approach in the passing the guard.
Now, are they just almost in a, kind of a physical lock here where they're putting in all their power and strength, or is it more strategy and finesse than power?
It's a big combination, Max, because they trying to apply power, but always with the strategic element to know exactly where they want to go. So you see now Léo Dalla trying to reverse the whole thing, but Cachorrinho could maintain him on the bottom and keeping the control position, and so it's just an attempt which doesn't give to him no points.
You've really got to be careful, it seems, that if you just put your leg out, your wrist out the wrong way, the other person can catch you and just take the position.
Yes, that could happen very, very easy.
What would you do if you were in this position?
Basically, it will be the same thing. with a little difference of trying to put the bottom opponent. If I was on top, I would try to put the bottom opponent with a little more pressure, to be a little more concerned about submissions. And when he was concerned about don't tap by any lock or choke I could try against his neck or something, he will eventually give me opportunity to free my leg.
Now, is he trying, the fighter on top is trying to crawl up on him, and it looks like he's got him caught in the leg. He's in a comfortable position. Is he also just trying to tire out the fighter on the bottom?
The fighter on the bottom has to apply, you know, some kind of technique to see if he can change the picture. It's all for the bottom guy work. The top guy is comfortable and he's just setting the pace of the fight right now.
Do most of the fights end in points or submissions, or how do most fights win?
I say in the black belt level, maybe 90% of the fights, maybe 80% of the fights are finishing by points or advantage. And only a few percentage goes for a submission. Because in order for you to try to submission, you sometimes expose yourself for a reversal.
So the submission, it's a risky move, but if it hits, it's fantastic.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So now the time is over. The fight is just finished, and even though it's no submission, it was a great victory by Flávio Almeida Cachorrinho by points. Everything started in Japan. All the concept of being a warrior through martial arts is a Japanese concept. And combining with the sense of applying techniques and effectiveness is also the sense of the spiritual concept of warrior, who brings the Bushido, or the code of honor and the way of the warrior for the Japanese. So I think this is the foundation for martial arts. Okay, now you see Nino, Antonio Chambrin, and George Platino, Macaco. We have those weird nicknames in this year.
You sure do.
But those are top fighters, and they definitely will be a action package right there.
And you know, the best fighters in jiu-jitsu right now are all coming out of Brazil, aren't they?
Yes. Macaco tried a great entrance from the bottom and went for a sweep. He get points. You see Macaco's style from the bottom. He tried to just control the balance and the leverage of the fight from the bottom. Is a very skillful technique. And on the other hand, Nino trying to get from the top perspective. He's looking for a submission on the leg as a knee lock, or even though come back to a controlling position. So for a submission on the foot, but he could not complete.
And I see what you mean. As soon as he went for it, the whole body's changed because he went for the submission.
Yes. So, and then he kind of lost a little bit of the control, and the guy already got a better position than he was before. Now he's almost facing the opponent. He just have his foot still caught in between his legs, so that's gonna give to him a little off balance control for the top guy, for Nino.
Now they went in really quick and hard. Is that a bad pacing because they may burn themselves out early in the fight?
No, it just depends the strategy of each one. Sometimes they like to make a little studying, sometimes they just try to surprise and get advantage.
You can really see the intensity on their face.
Yes, even though they're not moving too much, they're pretty much looking for a controlling. The bottom guy now is trying to stand up and change the picture and grab Nino's leg and see if he can just change the whole position. But Nino on top has an excellent control. Now he went for a reversal from the cross-side position.
Is that lock on his leg pretty tight? Is that hard to get out of?
It's hard to get out, but it's not, I mean, it doesn't seem it's a submission lock.
But is this a hard position? You know, he's got his leg locked, but where do I go from here?
Yeah, he's pretty much, both are kind of waiting for the next one mistake, so it's like hard to say what they go now. They're thinking about, top guy thinks about free his leg, bottom guy thinks about take advantage and change from the bottom to the top.
Would you say the best advantage is to wait for the other fighter to make a mistake and go from defensive fighting, or is it better to take the initiative?
It can work both ways. It's hard to say what is best. Depends the skill of each fighter and endurance level, technical level. So it all depends. You can either work from the defense to the offense and a countering, or either just maintain the pressure and just control the fight all the way. So it will depend.
So the best jiu-jitsu fighters perhaps are the ones who are most flexible.
Yes.
They can change their tactic during the fight.
Nino is very flexible. And now he's attempting to kind of give a little confusion through the neck choke, and now he's let go. He's looking now to move the foot and go for a knee lock. He's looking for the leg. He's locking the leg now. And I think you're going to get something from that because he's a knee lock. And it's just over.
Oh, I get to see the pain in his face.
Yeah, he just overstretched his knee. It was a great fight. Great display of technique from Nino.
That's great. I win. It's very great.
Do you call Carlos?
Carlos Gracie Jr.
Think about Rickson.
The best world all the time.
Would you like to challenge him?
No, never. He's my idol. Bye-bye.
Today, I think the Japanese martial artist, he's more into the game of martial arts than pretty much embracing the spirit of the war or the battle in the ring. Right now, this next fight is Renato Barreto and Vander Braga, great fighters.
What do you know about the style of these two fighters?
Definitely, Renato Barreto has been a student of my school for a long time, and he likes to fight in a very free way without too much concern about pointing score, but he is concerning about finishing and create opportunities with a very flexible and moving thing. About Vander, he is a very good competitor, but he looks more for a fight establishing like a pace where he can control and maintain the positions the way he likes. So we'll be like a very different styles of fighters competing each other. I don't think he get points by that because at the same time he attempted the flip. the other guy attempt to bring him down to the ground. So it was pretty much a combination of both. So that doesn't take no points. But now you can see Vander like advancing in a very slow pace, very methodic, very concerned, and very control over Renato.
It seemed, I'm not sure, but that the fighter on top is trying to push his body forward because it's harder than the other fighter to get up.
Yes, and also easier for him to control. But Renato opened his legs and started to create space. He started to create some kind of motion which gives to the top guy a much harder task in order to control. In this case, the top guy has a hard time in the bottom guy's guard. So the guy on the bottom, he's trying to act in various ways to create confusion and make the top guy lose his balance.
I see he's got him in an arm bar. He's trying
to... It's not quite an arm bar, but it's kind of arm trap where the intention is just to create difficult for the top guy establish control.
It seems like he's not really getting him to release, but he's making it just a little more difficult for him.
Notice how flexible is the bottom guy. He's so flexible. It's like fighting an octopus, you know. It's a very weird feeling when the guys are that flexible, because you basically don't have a control, because he feels like Rudini. He's always escaping from any trap he can come up with. So it's a kind of interesting style of flexibility and movement.
Is stretching very important to a fighter's regimen?
Yes, but it's not in every case, because some fighters, they're more tight and more stronger than others. For example, the bottom guy, Barreto's style, flexibility is the main thing.
You know one of these fighters and you've trained him?
Yes.
When you first see him, could you say, this guy's got potential?
And everybody has the natural instinct for jiu-jitsu, because you can define your style depending your personal abilities. If you're tight and strong, you can have this kind of style. If you're flexible and skinny, you can have a different style. So basically, jiu-jitsu is adaptable for anyone. So it's a nice try to sweep, and Renato now trying to choke, but Vander defend, putting his head in.
Now, can you grab somebody around the neck and choke him?
Oh yes, yes, that's part of the submission arsenal. So Vander now is a little skeptical about keeping the pressure. He's trying to maintain the fight in a little distance, because he's a little concerned about getting into this combinations and sweeps and dangers and chokes. So he's a little concerned. And even though Barreto is on the bottom, he's putting pressure on the fight, more and more pressure.
He's shuffling around.
He's just making too much movement, and Vander could not keep up with the whole action. And he ended up by sweeping and get 2 points from sweeping and 4 points on the mount position. He just got a mount position now, because now he's trying to maintain the position and go for a submission if he can.
Now, is that a good position? Because it looks like his weight is fairly far forward over him.
Yeah, but it's an excellent position, because half of the guy's body is not in the play. You know, he don't have. It's not like a guard position. The mount position gives a total control for the top guy.
He can't just the fighter on the bottom just kick his legs off the mat and push him over at this point?
Not really.
It's very difficult?
Yes. It's much harder than it looks.
That's almost like a bull trying to kick a cowboy off.
Yes. Now Renato Barreto on top, trying to maintain pressure. But Vander could escape from the mount, back on top. And now is a little break for they set up their gears again. Vander now is running behind, he's losing the fight. So he is the one who has to put some kind of action into the fight. He tried to pull Barreto to his legs, but Barreto went almost passing the guard, so.
It has such an intensity about it because, I mean, the fighters are so close and, I mean, it's such an intimate sport.
Yes. It's like nothing can display a more primal element because the fight doesn't stop as much, and basically you can do whatever you please to submit your opponent. So it's a lot of strategy, a lot of patience, a lot of aggressiveness, a lot of good technique. So you basically have a big variety of things you can apply in the same fight. He may try a sweep or a reversal. Soon Barreto gives a chance, but Barreto seems like very solid and in a good position. He tried to sneak from the back and go to the back, trying to slide out. Barreto still kind of keeping a good control.
Is he trying to put pressure on the neck?
No, just with one hand is impossible to choke.
You really need two hands.
Yes.
You have about 30 seconds left in this very match.
So now they're back to the fight. Vander is kind of behind in the score, so he tried to act.
Yeah, he took that offensive initiative.
Yeah, some pressure on Barreto, start to establish his position again, and he just immediately went to the knee on the stomach, which gave to him more points. So now he's going for the choke. He's attacking, and then he shifts from. Oh, time is just over. Great battle. Beautiful, beautiful display.
About 16 years. No, my first and still is Rickson Gracie in organization and fighters. Instructor is very good. Best Jiu-Jitsu championship I ever compete. No?
Once you see a martial arts as a game, you bring the sportive concept of the game in it. So you have to accept defeat in a very sportive way. But if you bring martial arts as a battle, the defeat is not acceptable. They want to know an answer or a solution or discover a secret, but it's no secret. I believe I devote all my life to martial arts and the full extension of not a game of making a point but it's the game of how I can survive against my opponent and how I can take advantage of my opponent's mistakes. And the Japanese, they born with that like 100 years ago. They brought to Brazil almost 80 years ago. And then we kept this element of surviving and fighting for, for the end, to the end. But in Japan, they start to specialize themselves in judo, which is a game, or karate, which is also a game. And they start to losing the element of fighting in a very complex way, combining defensive, offense, stalling the fight, submissions, strikes in one huge combat. So they will be good enough to beat me or anyone else when they have the same amount of dedication and training the Gracie family been doing in Brazil for the last 80 years. All right, now I think we're gonna have maybe the biggest and the most expected fight of the special fights. We see here Jamelão against Margarida. Fernando Pontes Margarida against Eduardo da Conceição Jamelão.
What is the strength of each of these fighters? What are they known for?
Margarita always like to fight looking for submissions. And Jamelão has a very good movements. So even though he's not a great finisher, he can establish control and make points and make a very competitive fight.
It's interesting, they move them right back into the mat, so they're supposed to be in the exact same position.
Yes, sometimes, you know, the referee tells them to stop and bring them in without moving positions, to don't take the action and the achievement so far away from you and start over. So it's just, they just keep going from where they were. The bottom guy, Margarita, he's trying to be effective in sweeps or finishing. And so he's not too concerned about defense. He's always playing offense. He's a very talented competitor. And Jamelão, because he already winning for previous points, he's playing strategically very calm and waiting for the opportunity to increase his points and at the same time rest and just take as goes, not rushing too much. So Margarita attempts to throw. Because they're out of bounds, we'll start up again. Nothing of this action counts any points.
Oh, he went straight down. Some fighters feel more comfortable taking somebody down to the ground.
Because he's afraid to get thrown or something, so he's trying to go for his expertise, which is start from this position and from there go for a sweep and reverse everything. So
are they familiar with each other's styles?
Pretty much, they compete a lot among each other, so they know. So Jamelão now just get 2 more points by sweeping from the guard. And a great reversal. Margarita didn't get the points because even though he get the top position, he didn't control Jamelão on the bottom. I think Jamelão got 2 more points now for the throw. He has a big score over Margarita.
Margarita's going for the submission now because he's so back on points.
Yeah, now he's just thinking about, so see, Margarita went for a surprising choke and putting a lot of pressure over Jamelão's neck. But he kind of measured his way out. Yes, he escapes.
Is it possible Margarita can still catch up on points?
Yes, he's trying like desperate to go for some kind of finish. It is possible. It's very unusual because at this point the only thing in Jamelon's concern is just keep stalling the fight and taking his time, and it's going to be hard for Margarita to score over these conditions.
How much do you think that kind of pressure affects the psyche of the fighters?
Oh, it affects a lot because, you know, you can see like the victory slipping through your fingers, and you just cannot be just allowing the fight get this kind of pace. So you commit to do something, and sometimes goes even against you because your commitment to victory sometimes make you open the back door and let the guy just sneak in and get something else, you know. So it's like it's a tricky double angle situation. But Jamelon's kind of managed very well the control he has. He's very patient, very much into the keeping the game, and Margarita is getting anxious to make something happen. He's such a great fighter. Anything can happen in this final minutes.
I wish I had some clothes like theirs. I mean, they never rip, those gi.
They're very strong. So once Jamelon has this kind of advantage in points over Margarita, the only thing he's thinking now is just waiting for the time and just wait, because
just running down the clock right now.
Yes, they just kind of getting more and more time.
Oh, now, was that a risky move?
Yeah, he tried to attempt a throw, but Jamelon established his base and keep the position. Margarita tried to score in any situation for any kind, but Jamelon is just take his time and be very patient now. Margarita now has a back position. He almost get the back. Then he went to the control, but he still doesn't make no points because he could not free his leg. So doesn't count no points so far. Even though he's putting a lot of pressure now. Block now Margarita and trying to squeeze Jamelon's foot, but he's escaping again.
Was that a possible submission?
Oh yes, yes, very possible.
It's amazing all the heart these fighters have. They just don't give up.
Yes, and they're so much into the competition. They put everything on.
How much training do they do for these type of matches?
Oh, they're basically training forever. I mean, they teach, they practice, they compete all the time. For those fighters, they are in their prime for competition, so they pretty much in like year-round season for competition, and so they're kind of in their prime. Now he attempt a good choke in Jamelon, but Jamelon cannot allow the hook, the foot, get into place, because if Margarita establish his foot like the bottom leg, he can make 4 points by that. But because he don't have both foots hooking into the Jamelon's hip, he could not make the 4 points. And Jamelon escaped from the back position. Now Margarita tried to mount, but he's still with one leg trap. He cannot make the points
Jamil's like an escape artist, it seems.
Yes,
he's really good at getting out.
Yes.
Now, do you ever go into your fight picturing what you're going to do, or is that kind of put you in a corner as far as your strategy?
Yeah, we have always to get this kind of idea, but basically you have to be in a zone and empty your mind and just do what best you can do. See, Jamilão get 2 more points in this very final movement because he could sweep. It was a great fight, a great victory for Jamilão over Margarida. It was a great display of technique. All right, very good.
Bom, foi muito bom. Estava bem preparado, tá? Treinei bastante, eu treino bastante, que eu ia até lutar com Margarida em São Paulo, número 1. E uma satisfação imensa estar lutando no campeonato dele. Sempre que tiver, vou estar aí, fortalecendo. É isso aí.
I don't have no expectations. I keep an empty mind and I try to do what I've been training for. I mean, try to do my best. You have to be sharp and aggressive in some ways, and you also have to be, precise, not technically but mentally, in order to be passive and then go for the attack. Is a very interesting combination between being passive and being mean and aggressive. So if you're too aggressive and too mean, sometimes you get emotional and you lost the sharpness of the timing. If you're too passive, sometimes you lost the time for the attack. So basically, like a lion, he stays behind the bush forever against the wind, waiting for the animal to get close, and then he goes and attack. This battle is between Nino and Marcos Silva, and this is a very tough competition because Marcos is heavier and Nino has to put a lot of action in order to take the control.
He's got him in a unusual position right now.
Yeah, he's very flexible. He tried to create some kind of instability because if he let the fight go slow, Marcos can pretty much, through his strength, keeping the thing in a pace Nino could not do much. So Nino trying to create a lot of action, a lot of movements, a lot of surprising, like this arm lock. But Marcos is strong enough to just keep defending and controlling, but that gives a little edge for Nino, who's doing much more in a fight than just hold on like Marco do. So Marco is pretty much just trying to escape. Now, for example, he goes for a shoulder blade block, but Marcos also escaped. So Nino trying to just keep the pace and trying to create a lot of motion.
As he's pushing him a lot, the legs are really the strongest part of the body. I assume they make a lot of use of them.
Yes. a lot of leverage in this guard position. The time is over. It was a good fight for Nino because he tried to keep his pace. This fight is between Jamelão and Macaco, very tough competitors. They both have a very similar style and speed and technical ability, so it's pretty much even fight. Macaco attempt to immediately control the bottom, having a sweep position. Actually, it's his favorite game. He has a little control over Jamelão at this point.
It's amazing how they get out of some of these moves. I feel like, you know, I was locked in there, I'd just be stuck.
Macaco in a nice inversion, he ended up by mounting and get 4 points for the mount, so he's in good shape, and he ended up by winning the fight by points. Yeah, this fight is between Ricardo Miller and Cachorrinho, Flávio Almeida. Flávio Almeida is a little heavier. That's make Ricardo kind of trying to keep the fight in the guard or something, so that's why he already bring the fight to the guard and try to be very patient and working on maybe Cachorrinho's mistakes. But Cachorrinho is heavier and is a very talented fighter who keep the pressure all the way over Ricardo and try to get him from the back in this position.
Now, what's he trying to do with his leg?
Trying to hook the guy and try to go for a choke, but Ricardo tried to escape from the bottom and end up by getting his neck caught in a choke. That's give to him a kind of weird position to escape from, and he's in trouble now, and we'll see what happens. He's just stepping with the foot. That's the end of the fight by a submission, by a choke. So he just give up, and the victory goes for Flávio Cachorrinho. Great fight. This next fight is Margarita against Léo Dalla. Margarita started bringing the fight to the ground and allowed Léo Dalla to establish his position on top, but he's a very active fighter and he's gonna try to keep the pressure. He went to the choke and he's trying to keep moving on the bottom and giving Léo Dalla a hard time to control. So this gives to him a 2-point sweep or reversal. Now he's on top, giving pressure to Léo Dalla. Now Léo Dalla bring him to the ground and trying to establish some kind of guard control. With Margarita open his guards and go for the pass and establish a half guard position and start going for an attempted choke hold.
Well, they're really caught up here.
So the situation is now Margarita passed the guard, establish a side control, trying to keep the pressure towards submission. Now he put his knee on his stomach, get a few more points for that, and trying to really control in every way Léo Dalla. Margarita established a good control over Léo. He's just now waiting for the opportunity to finish, but the time is kind of run out. It's a great victory for Margarita. This is a fight between Nino and Macaco, but because a severe injury on his knee, Macaco could not perform, so he just gave up from Nino, and let's make a Nino advance for the finals. This fight is between Cachorrinho and Margarita for the semifinals, and at this moment he just got hit with the knee accidentally on his face. Attempt a very good flip, but he could not make it, and Margarita tried to get his arm, but he also defended very well, so advantage on that. And then he went to the back. Margarita trying to keep a very high pressure on the fight, but Cachorrinho is also very smart fighter and don't let the pressure goes on all the way. He attempted the flip, but he could not make a perfect flip, but he get the points anyway. And so he's keep the pressure. And Cachorrinho trying to pass the guard. Margarita goes for a knee lock, but didn't happen.
Are they out of bounds when they're past the goal?
Yeah, yes, they are out of bounds. Fighters at this point are exhausted because they've been fighting for forever. He attempted a shoulder lock, but Cachorrinho defend, and they kind of get stuck in this awkward position.
Oh, nice move.
The little reverse from Margarita, who got top and get the points for a sweep.
It's tough. Oh no, he slipped on.
Now he tried to keep the pressure and see if he can finish. Margarita has a very aggressive style. He's not trying to stall the fight because he has more or less points. He don't think too much in points, and I admire a lot this kind of attitude. A very nice attitude for a competition. Even though he's still keeping doing points, he's still like looking for a finish. So he even tried the arm lock, and Cachorrinho escaped in a very smooth way. Now he's attempting a sweep. He could make points again for the sweep. The time is just over now. And it's a great victory for Margarita to come up to the finals. It's nice to see the guys with such a level of respect and friendship in such a tough sport.
Boa sorte. Bye.
Now this is the final match between Nino and Margarita. It's a very anticipated match, so it's going to be great because both are great talent fighters. That was a great grip, great throw, and make 2 points for that. It seems like Nino got hurt on his foot. He just fall. He kind of put his hand on his foot, so it seems like maybe he got hurt. Trying for a knee lock, beautiful escape, and he's just start again, standing up. He attempted to put the guy in the guard, but I think he got hurt in his way down. And, he complaining because he's in pain on his knee. It's time for make a little check.
For the knees, is that a common place for injury in this kind of fight?
Yes, his knee was totally out of place, and the victory was for Margarita. Even though the fight was not totally over, Margarita got the victory, and it was a great tournament. I don't even think about how it could be without Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. I born in this environment, and I maintain, with the bless of God, this same environment for my kids. I think that is the way I breathe and I live. I like to just give the knowledge here of the presence of the man who makes everything happen. Grandmaster Rickson Gracie over there. He's a creator. He's just invent new ways to execute old movements.
Muito feliz porque eu estou vendo que o mundo inteiro está aprendendo jiu-jitsu.
I feel very happy because I see the whole world is learning jiu-jitsu.
I take everything he taught me and I add my personal possibilities. I see the evolutionary process of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu as constant, because every technique created so far coming with a counter movement is also created to avoid those. So Jiu-Jitsu is in a constant evolution. I feel very happy. 10 years ago was nothing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And today you see like people coming from all over the world to participate, and they spreading the seeds of Jiu-Jitsu is something which makes me proud, because martial arts is for the entire world.